EH&S orientation training. Utility knife. Specialized cutting equipment. Utility knives or tradesmen's knives have very sharp blades, capable of cutting electrical cable or drywall. The knives generally have a metal casing and are roughly 6 inches long. With a twist of the screw on the side, the casing comes apart and has a compartment for spare blades as well as the blade in use. To extend the blade, push and slide the small button on the side of the casing with your thumb. To pull it back into the casing, simply push the button while pulling your thumb back to the first position. Utility knives are handy implements for a variety of tasks. But because they have to be extremely sharp to do their job, utility knives are also extremely dangerous if not handled and stored properly. Choose the right blade for the job. Utility knives come in many different shapes and forms, each designed for a specific purpose. Selecting the correct blade for the job is essential to ensure that the job can be completed correctly and safely. When selecting a utility knife, consider the following safety questions. What is the appropriate blade for the job? That depends on what needs to be cut. Cardboard, plastic, wood, etc. What type of edge is best for the purpose? Fine-edged blades produce a smooth, clean cut. Serrated blades are better for cutting cardboard cartons and similar packing materials. Is the handle large enough to provide a secure grip? This prevents the hand from slipping forward over the blade and reduces the force required to hold the knife, which helps prevent musculoskeletal disorders, MSDs. Is the handle designed to reduce excessive wrist bending? The knife should be designed to do the job without undue pressure, which also helps prevent MSDs. Pay attention while cutting and store knives safely. To prevent accidents, emphasize these safe work practices. Always cut in a motion away from the body and away from other people. This way, if the knife slips, it won't cut the worker or a person standing next to the worker. Keep the other hand, fingers and thumbs out of the way when cutting. If employees have to grip the object they are cutting, remind them to cut away from the hand. Stay focused on the cutting job. It only takes a second of inattention with a sharp blade to produce a serious cut. Letting the mind wander or talking with others while using a knife greatly increases the risk of an accident and injury. If interrupted while working with a utility knife, stop cutting, retract the blade, and place the knife down on a secure surface before dealing with the interruption. Never continue cutting while distracted. Store utility knives safely. Retract the blade or cover an open blade before storing. Never, ever leave a knife with the blade exposed on the floor, on a pallet, on a work surface, or in a drawer or cabinet. Why this matters? As many as 1/3 of all manual tool injuries have been attributed to utility knives like box cutters. Because blades need to be sharp to work effectively, they can also deliver dangerous cuts. It only takes a moment of inattention for a blade to slip and an employee to be injured. Co-workers can be injured too, if a blade worker leaves a knife lying around with an open blade. All tasks requiring the use of a cutting device must be evaluated and reviewed on at least a 3-year basis to review the safest method of completing the task. The selection of the proper cutting device must be documented. Failure to use the standard cutting device defined for the task may result in disciplinary action up to and including termination. Utility knives are not to be the default tool of choice. If a utility knife is determined to be the only practical option, a utility knife with auto-retracting blades will be required. Cut-resistant gloves must be worn on the unused hand with any use of a utility knife. Altering the retractable blade utility knife in any way may result in disciplinary action, up to and including termination.